Welcome back to Active COVID, the podcast.
COVID-14. Not so bad as COVID-19.
It's the less extreme one, the 14 there.
Yeah, this is I got the variant that is just a tickle in your throat because
it's early enough in the variant that the characters haven't become cartoon versions of themselves.
Boom.
When you hit 19, it's just Homer Simpson talking about how stupid he is.
Oh yeah.
Every episode.
The worst.
Instead of having some level of intelligence, which is so fucking annoying to me. Just go back to before season 7.
Yeah.
That was a good Simpsons.
I want the Simpsons where the episodes aren't about apps on their phones and it's about like Homer got his foot stuck in a bucket and Marge is upset and then Bart and Lisa are doing their own thing that doesn't I don't know, they just try to shoehorn all this new technology and all the new they're just trying to make references to things that we get, but then change the name slightly.
I haven't seen a fucking Simpsons. I'll tell you, the last one that I saw, and it was forced upon me by somebody else. I can't remember who, but it was like they go into Lego World.
Oh yeah,
and they gotta build. Bart's got to build like a fucking mech out of Lego in order to fight. I don't know, some character is trying to keep him stuck in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
I skip over episodes that aren't like regular episodes.
Yeah, just them in the house chilling.
Yeah, I don't want musical episodes. I don't want any holiday themed episodes.
No.
Unless it's a holiday that's like different. Like I don't mind
Ramadan.
You're
watching.
I was going to say like when Bob's Burgers does like a Thanksgiving episode. That's not so bad cuz it's usually you don't see Thanksgiving. It's Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That's the big 3.
Maybe Easter. I guess there's not too much Easter though, because what the fuck it's just a joke about a giant bunny and that's all you get.
Yeah, I don't know how you do Easter without doing Jesus too.
It's either Jesus or a giant bunny. And turns out the giant bunny's evil.
Yeah.
And I just wrote a fucking episode of The Simpsons just now.
Oh, see, I was thinking you just like that was like a base to a script for a horror movie right there. Happy Easter.
It's Happy Easter. It's got to exist somewhere in the B-movie realm. There's got to be fucking Easter Gone Awry. Where it's like fucking, because I'm sure there's also ones for Christmas where the kids stay up too late and then Santa shows up and he's actually like a horrible monster.
I'd be into that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's got to be a horrible monster. He's like, what, 100 years old and like he comes out once a year?
He's like the creeper. He doesn't actually have skin or flesh any longer because he's so fucking old.
Yeah, and he's just this monster.
It's a sack in a jacket.
And if you're awake when he comes in, he steals your liver.
Mm-hmm. He's only okay with cookies if the house is totally silent.
Yeah, and any noise and it sets him off. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be around when Santa sets off.
Right in the fucking fair. Not a creature was stirring. Not even a mouse. There better not be even a fucking sound of a mouse stirring in this house when I get in here.
Could you imagine if you could hear mice stirring in your house?
I've heard a mouse stir in my house once.
And did you call the exterminator immediately?
Exterminator?
Yeah, he makes it so that the stirring becomes
X.
Yeah. Yeah. And X gonna give it to you. Then that's something we all can be comfortable with knowing.
Yeah, fuck waiting for you to get it on your own.
I mean, R.I.P. He is dead.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? He's giving it to fucking. Now he's giving it to Jesus in heaven.
Yeah, he probably is, isn't he?
He's just up there. Somebody, hey, we need DMX for this, and then on a cloud a mile and a half away, you just hear.
Yeah,
he's fucking on his way.
As angels walk around, is somebody growling? What's the growling?
I don't think demons were allowed up here.
I don't know why he thought he was a dog, but he
sounds
did.
like fucking Cujo the way you do it.
Oh my God! Welcome to Grindhouse Movie Club. By the way, this is a podcast.
It is. You'll notice by the fact that there's sound.
Yep, you've stumbled into it, and here you are. Welcome.
2 middle-aged men sitting in chairs in a attic.
Are we middle-aged? I think I'm middle-aged.
I would say I'm middle-aged for sure, given that I don't plan to live past 55.
Okay,
I'm smack dab in the middle of my age right now.
I'd like to live to be like 300, I think.
One or the other. Either I die at 50 by my own hand, or I'm a vampire.
Yeah, see that's what I definitely want to be like around and just like people be like, oh, why is that house so dark? Oh, you don't know?
When you get to be 425, the light hurts. That's what it is. That's why vampires can't go out in the sun. It's just painful.
And then I need the blood of the youth to keep myself vital.
Like Elizabeth Bathory.
Oh my God. Hey, podcast. Darkroastcult.com.
That's a website.
That's the website you could go to listen to this podcast. Or,
And I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, but all of the other listening websites are listed right there on that one.
They are indeed.
It is a central hub for all the information you need.
Central hub is the best way to put it. That we've built a hub, and it's a central one.
What's that in Star Trek? The main place where all like the buttons and shit are.
Oh, is it the holodeck?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think a holodeck is like an audio file that you play in Fallout in order to uncover a story you don't care about.
You know what? No, you're right. I think it was just like the deck or a deck.
The bridge. The bridge. It was the fucking bridge, guys.
That's right.
Thanks for the help, everyone.
And then he always like called down to the dude who had like, he's like, come on, Scotty, we need more power. And he's like, dog, I'm giving him all I got.
I could listen to my accent, all right?
Yeah, I didn't do it because I didn't want to offend our Scottish.
I drank 13 Guinness this morning.
and now I'm giving her as much as I can.
Yeah.
Within reason. I'm doing okay down here.
Don't come down.
So yeah, go to darkroastcult.com, pick yourself up a bag of coffee, some enamel pins. I think we're going to have some shirts eventually.
Oh, brand new pin as of what, 2 weeks ago, last week?
Something like that. Yeah. It's up there. Spilly ghost, little ghost, does a little spill on himself.
That's how I would describe myself in 2 words.
Yeah. You know what?
Spilly ghost.
See, I feel this because anytime I put a white shirt on, I spill.
Yeah.
I'm wearing black right now and no problems.
Forget about white. The only white shirt that I own, actually there's 2 of them, but the one that I wear the most often is that piece of shit Birds shirt.
Yes.
From the awesome Twitter account that's now defunct for some sad reason.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But
Me
that was
neither.
A good one.
He just gave up. He hasn't posted anything since like January of last year.
Oh, that's far too long. And
it has permanent dark brown stains all over it. But like the graphs was birds all over it, so you can't really. It just kind of looks like they had diarrhea. So I wear it anyway. That's
fine. I mean, as long as it's just like, for me, like a plain white shirt with a big coffee stain on it, that's probably just one I'm not going to wear again.
No, you can't. There's no getting that out.
There really isn't. And
I'm not out here trying to buy bleach.
At that point, like, even if you do get it out, that shirt's never going to be the same again.
No.
That's a lot of scrubbing.
Yeah. Going through a whole magic eraser just to get that out.
Absolutely. Darkroastcult.com. We don't sell magic erasers, but you could listen to this podcast that you're already listening to.
You could buy a bunch of enamel pins and use them to cover up the stain.
There you go.
Just slap them right over top.
Now you're thinking. Yeah, if the coffee stains your shirt, just get some enamel pins.
It justifies buying both at the same time.
Hey, are you a salesman?
I sure am.
Are you salesing me on some stuff here? I think
fucking make your decision for Christ.
Buy my own fucking pins.
Yeah.
Also, Andrew, thank you for the theme song.
Woo.
Link to Andrew in the description on SoundCloud for sure. It's like a little clickable link. I don't know if I think it's just been putting his username into the show notes.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah. So. SoundCloud.com/Andrew's username,
whatever the fuck it is.
I do not want to try and pronounce it.
Is it Japanese as fuck?
Well, it's just got a lot of K's in it, I think. And it's just like, I could pronounce this or I could leave it up to you.
Yeah.
The listener.
Oh, it's like an interactive game now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're cross-platform.
Absolutely. Sorry, I felt a rasp there in my voice.
I sort of just let that fly usually.
Yeah.
I don't mind sounding like I've been smoking 4 cigarettes at a time for 30 years.
Well, my problem is like I don't want to be talking and then have phlegm come out onto the microphone.
Yeah. Once again with the mouth sounds, the too loud mouth sounds. We can't have that.
And that's why I've got this seltzer water right here to wet my mouth.
Your whistle?
Yeah. So what movie did we do this week?
This week we did a movie at your behest.
That's right.
Called Cube.
The best movie I've ever seen.
You maintain that to be the case.
This movie is probably one of my favorite movies.
Well, good. I'm glad. That makes one of us.
It's there's nothing like from start to finish. It's got everything I want for a movie. It's weird.
It is that.
It's like, who would come up with this idea and how did it get made?
A fucking monster.
A beautiful piece of Canadian cinema, too, by the way.
I believe to be shot. Now, I'm not 100%, but I believe it was shot in Toronto.
I wouldn't be surprised.
At the very least, it was produced out of Toronto.
I think for sure, it was like,
Because I saw on the trivia page that the people who produced it, they did it for free, or the VFX they did for free.
Yes, because
in
it
order
was
to support,
Canadian.
like Toronto film cinema shit. Fine.
Right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. See, I thought this movie was a lot older than it was. I thought it was like one of those movies from the 80s.
You thought 80s?
Yeah.
See, I thought late 90s.
And you were correct.
And I mean, you could also like kind of get away with thinking that it's like an early 2000s movie because it does have that vibe as well.
I was thinking it just had an 80s feel about it. Like, these people are trapped in, by the way, spoiler alert, people are trapped in a big cube.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
And to that point as well, 99% of this movie is shot in a box.
Yes, it is.
So,
one box.
Yeah, it makes sense for it to be like an 80s B horror movie because the budget
right
so low.
It is. And like there's you get some bad visual effects.
Yeah.
You get
some good practical effects.
Some good practical effects, but you got those weird digital effects that are so bad. It's like, this is what am I watching? Reboot here?
This is and so this is the thing that a few episodes ago we were talking about how a lot of the time with CG things just come out shiny.
Yes.
So the premise of this movie, I'm just gonna dive right into my synopsis here.
All right, yeah, you got it in 2 sentences, 3 sentences. One. Okay.
A ragtag group of strangers die one by one on a futile quest to prove that math is useful.
I like that,
and I'll explain exactly why. Math is not at all useful, despite the fact that it's used heavily throughout this movie.
There's a lot of math in this movie.
Yeah, there's tons. Shit that I don't even... What's a prime number?
I don't know.
You tell me what a prime number is right now.
As a 32-year-old man, I've never needed to fucking know what a prime number was.
Not once.
And in any time I needed to know, somebody else knew.
Yeah. And you know what else knows? Computers know real well.
Absolutely they do. Google.
Yeah. What's a prime number? So I believe it's a number that can only be divided by 1 or by itself.
Okay.
So like if you were trying to divide it by another number, it wouldn't work.
Okay.
And
sure.
So like they're fucking going through these, they discover there's so much to go through in order to even. I fucking said that synopsis now because I had something to say about it and I lost it.
Okay, well, I'll give you my synopsis.
Yeah.
Box for box, you got to wear your socks. I don't know why you got to wear socks. It just rhymed.
It's probably a good idea.
It's just group goes from box to box.
Yeah.
To box. To box to box.
Guess what? Another box.
And box.
Yeah. So inside some of these boxes, there are traps that kill you real effectively. They do a really good job.
Oh, absolutely they do.
I was really happy that the beginning of this movie, because a lot of the time, intros, like the purpose of an intro, like a pre-credits scene with like little to no bearing on the movie itself, is to establish the tone and what to expect throughout the rest of the film. And this does exactly that perfectly. A guy wakes up in a box, he goes from one box to another, and he gets fucking killed.
Yes, he does.
And you go, oh, this is the whole movie.
Yep. And like it delivers exactly what it promises.
Yeah.
And it's just boxes and traps.
So yeah, these traps, a lot of them are like brushed metal.
Yeah.
Which is why the shininess makes sense.
Yeah, in this case, the shininess did make sense. I will say, however, the opening scene is probably the worst of the CG.
Yeah.
It's that
worst of the CG, but then also like a good like practical scene as well.
Yeah, because all you see is like the guy walk into a room, and then all of a sudden there's a grid of blood just kind of oozing out of him, and then
like somebody hit a potato with a tennis racket.
Yeah, and then he falls apart, and then you see like this weird chain link fence kind of come down oddly into a weird, unnatural position.
Yeah.
And then like
fold up into itself.
Yeah, and then like go away
like a Venetian blind.
Yeah, like why did it have to fold up into itself and like also be on a weird angle? Like it didn't have to come back down.
It's going back to position 1, I think, because it like swings and cuts him.
Maybe
it could have just stayed right up there in the ceiling where it was at.
Yeah, you could have just showed me some piano wires, and I would have been like, oh.
I got a bone to pick with that a little bit.
Okay,
because I assume the point of having it like a collapsible murder weapon, is so that it can fit in the very small spaces between these boxes.
I guess so, yeah.
Because like these traps have to come from somewhere, right?
For real.
So the one that's in the room that's like sound activated is just like thousands of spikes.
Yes.
And I think the spikes do that like Russian nesting doll cone thing where they just like press back into each other.
Oh yeah, they're what's it called? Telescoping.
Sure.
Yeah, they're telescoping.
And so like there are some though that it doesn't make any sense for them to be able to fit in such a small space.
Yeah, I never really put thought into that actually.
The flamethrower one, like that's gonna be a metal tube that's that can house gas without leaking out into the rest of the area.
Yeah, there's a tank of gasoline somewhere.
Yep. And that thing, it can't fold really.
No.
It can't be, telescoping, oscillating, scintillating, whatever
Folding,
the fuck word.
Gating, locking.
Yeah.
Turning,
all those things.
Cooking.
It would have to be, there's got to be a large rigid tube in order to fucking, and it would be the same with the acid tube that burns a face so far into a head.
Peekaboo. Here's some acid for you.
Yeah, peekaboo. You're never going to see nothing again.
Oh my God.
It goes right in his fucking eyes.
The fact that like he gets that acid in the face and then crawls back to the tube like blindly.
Yeah.
Pro
Impressive.
Skills. Yeah. So my first hint that this movie was a Canadian movie is the Wren. You remember him?
Yep. He was my favorite character. Because there's so many, there's like 7 characters in this movie, right?
Yeah. And by the way, they're all labeled. Thank you.
Yeah.
They all have a fucking label on their shirt.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect.
A fun fact, they're all named after famous prisons.
Yeah. And they're all named after prisons that reflect their characters.
Yes. Kazan being a famous mental institution.
Yeah.
For that nice autistic man.
Yeah. That trying his best autistic man.
He really was.
It's a miracle he survived as long as he fucking did, given that he can't bring himself not to go, huh?
Honestly, the most tense part of that movie was him fighting his urge to like make a sound in the sound trap.
Oh my God.
And it's just like, it was just so tense. Like, don't you do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, ha, ha, ha.
He wants, he's got a thumbtack in his shoe that he keeps pressing his toe onto to distract himself from the need.
Hands over the mouth. Like, just can't not. Oh, anyway, we'll get to that. But the Wren, French name.
Yep.
He's also a character on the show Red Green.
No shit.
Yeah, he was like the thief prison inmate character who always popped in and he'd be like, oh, look what I stole.
You mean this actor was the same actor that was on Red Green?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's also on Goosebumps too.
There's him and there's another one that I don't remember who that was also in Goosebumps.
Yeah.
But that's a fun thing to think about, like how many actors who are still prolific were on a couple episodes of Goosebumps if you're from Canada.
Right.
Jay Baruchel was all up in Goosebumps.
Was he?
It was either that or Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I think it was Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Point, though.
With Ross Hull.
Yeah. That weather man.
And now he does the weather.
He leveraged his ability to fucking tell stories in service of the Midnight Society into talking about tornadoes if they're coming.
That's a different scary story.
Yeah.
The Midwest.
A similar skill set. Yeah. Every time that he's got to do like a tornado warning or a severe storm warning to throw sand at the camera.
Oh my God. I present for your consideration. Get to the basement. There's a tornado coming. And then he throws, the glitter dust.
Yeah, fuck. So this fucking movie, a bunch of people wake up in this box, in this series of boxes attached to each other.
Yep.
And they try very hard to find a way out, and it doesn't go well for anyone who actually tries.
No, it really doesn't. It really does not at all. they die one by one, and then like they break it into fights. They all turn against each other.
Primarily in so like a lot of these boxes have different colors.
Yes.
Mostly red, orange, white, and blue. The red ones specifically are ones where scenes were written that were the most like the greatest amount of conflict.
Yes, yeah, and death or whatever.
Like if you read that and then you know and you look for it, you're gonna be like, oh, it's a red room. Shit.
Yep.
Some bad's gonna happen here.
And then with that being said, all the rooms that are white are the ones where they discover stuff and
they like learn.
They come to conclusions and whatnot. So
we got Ren, who's a multiple times prison escape artist.
Yeah. Oh, everybody's got a special skill. That's important to note too.
Yeah,
everybody's got that skill.
We got Worth, who, as it turns out, fucking designed this thing, which doesn't really come in all that much handy.
No, he's kind of just a piece of shit the whole movie.
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't know. I built the egg.
Yeah,
and now we're stuck in the yolk. I don't know shit about the yolk, but I'll tell you all about the egg that surrounds it.
You got Holloway, who's some kind of doctor.
She's like a Doctors Without Borders doctor.
I was gonna say it never really comes into play, but she talks to Kazan for a bit, and
right away she talks about being in Chile and like doing medical stuff.
Oh, she okay? I must have missed that.
It's like a throwaway line almost.
Okay, that's probably why.
It's like they're talking about how they wound up in this situation, and she's like, "It's like Chile. They get you while you're sleeping."
Oh, Jesus.
Which is another thing that like they don't really touch on all that much in the movie, but like this is like I was reminded of Saw a lot.
Mm-hmm. It is very Saw-like.
Yeah, it's like you wake up in a fucking room with no knowledge, you got to figure it out for yourself. Mm-hmm. But then also in Saw, like for the most part anyway, they just grab you when you're unawares and stick a needle in your neck.
Yeah, they do.
And all these motherfuckers wake up tired, so I can only assume it was the same. Like, oh, I'm going to give you this sleeping juice.
Sleeping juice. So NyQuil. Hey,
straight into your jugular.
How about a glass of wine and some NyQuil, buddy?
Fucking Kazan, who is autistic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think it's the best way to describe the man.
That's what he is.
That's what he's got going on.
He does the finger stimming thing,
and he does a lot of like slapping his side of his head.
And when he's upset, he yells, which is another because there's that whole aspect of like noise being something to focus on, so that I don't focus on how stressed I am.
Yeah,
it's like a symptom.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And then we have Quentin, who is the worst police officer in the world.
Yeah, again, he's the same kind of cop like in Cabin Fever. He's that kind of cop.
Just useless.
Although it's very obvious that as a child he took some kind of martial arts, because he spent the first 2 minutes of this movie just flipping people.
Yeah, he does that a lot. There's a scene where he fucking takes Worth and throws him through one of the doors to another.
Yeah.
And so these cubes are all 14 by 14.
Something like that, yeah.
And I don't know how you would... They're all... Like, all the doors are in the dead center of the walls. So that means that he threw a guy 6 feet into the air.
Oh my God.
And then 6 feet in distance as well to get him all the way into the other cube.
I didn't even think about that.
Have you ever tried to pick up and throw a person? It's incredibly difficult.
You generally rip their clothes trying to do it.
Yeah, gravity doesn't let that happen.
Oh my God.
So I don't know why he's got fucking Hulk strength.
I didn't think about, that this guy in public school, he was, for track and field day, he probably, what's that one where you just throw the baseball?
It's shot put?
I think it was called like softball throwing.
Yeah.
Sorry, my public school, when we did track and field, it was very rinky dink.
Well, the shot put ball itself is like it's like a 3-pound solid carbon weight. So I don't know if they want kids just chucking those around willy-nilly at each other.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So you can use a softball.
But they gave us javelins. I'm kidding.
I didn't get a fucking javelin. I wish I went to your school.
Yeah, we would have had a few less kids if we had javelins.
Yeah, dude, it's the professional version of lawn darts.
Throughout this movie, everybody's got their theory about cube has come to be. Before they figure out that Worth was like hired to build the outer shell or whatever.
And it's all based on like things that character would believe are true.
Yeah, so you got Holloway, and it's like only the government could make something this ugly.
Yeah, and what the fuck? What experience did you have with government buildings and the people therein?
Yeah,
to make you be like, Trump built this thing.
This is a Trump cube. Yeah.
He starts with a tower, and now he does a cube underground.
You know how the cubes, the government loves their squares, right? Well, look at this.
They love their squares and, like, weird Illuminati symbols painted all over them.
They do.
I can understand where you draw that concubtion. I'm just going to kill myself tonight. Concubtion. Missed, however, the best character in the whole movie, who is Leaven, who I don't know how fucking... They never establish how old she is.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking high school.
She's definitely like a 27-year-old trying to be a high school student.
Yeah, that. And then, like, so in the movie, how old is she? Because she's obviously a math major, but she doesn't call herself a math major. Yeah. It's not like she's going to school specifically to study math, although it seems to be suggested that she is.
Yeah, and she's doing like complex math too.
It seems, I mean, like calculating coordinates and high-level prime numbers, I could see that being something that like 12th grade advanced math kids would know how to do.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, so like her age is never really like solidly established. But she acts like she has gone through some of the worst things ever in history. She starts out having a fucking panic attack when you meet her, number one, just because you're in a confined space, which I identify with heavily. But then, like, later on, the movie gets violent when Quentin just loses his shit progressively as the movie goes on.
Is that where he makes things weird?
That's later.
Okay.
But around the time he starts just beating the shit out of Worth every so often.
With the boot, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you don't want to get this boot.
Yeah.
And then he just gives him the boot. Oh my God.
You don't want to get this boot.
That's what he says.
He fucking does. He's like, you know exactly what I'm going to do with this boot if you want it. But yeah, like he starts putting Worth's life in danger by giving him internal bleeding to like his kidneys and liver and shit.
Yeah,
and then Leaven turns into a bit of a psychopath in that the violence that she's seeing for somebody her age doesn't really affect her at all. And there's a part where like her and Quentin for a second turn into like Poison Ivy and Bane in the Joel Schumacher Batman with fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
Where Bane's throwing his weight around a lot, and then Poison Ivy just shows up and like starts interrogating people and asks very threatening questions.
All right.
She just like adopts that role. Like she's like, yeah, fuck him up. And now I'm gonna get right in his face.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be threatening physically, but look at me.
Yeah, she really becomes a fucking crazy person.
She does. And I blame math.
Yeah, you know what? I blame the schools.
When all you see is numbers all day, human beings just become a series of numbers.
Yeah, and when everybody's just a number, you don't care.
No.
I will say she's got some fantastic, like, I don't know, hand strength. The way she carves into metal with just a plastic button to do her math.
Yeah.
Wild.
Rennes was my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah.
Until he died after 10 minutes.
Getting shot in the face with acid.
Yeah, which is a horrible way to go.
Yes, it is.
And then, it just dissolves his whole, like, front half of his head.
Yeah, his head looked like when you crack an egg. And then you put the eggshell inside of itself. Yeah. That's what it looked like.
Or like when you're trying to separate the yolk out, and so it's just half an eggshell and yolk inside.
Yeah. Oh.
Delicious. But he has like the best advice, which is, okay, we're not gonna have water in this place, so suck on a button.
Yeah, that's smart.
And he presents it like hilarious because obviously everybody's distrusting at first, and he just walks up to it, Holloway, who had just chirped him, and like rips a button off of her coat and goes, suck on this.
Yeah,
in order to keep the saliva going. So these buttons now, what I'm trying to get at here is, this bitch must also have like she must have worked at like a Wendy's or a KFC or something when she was younger, and was just instead of getting groceries, eating food right off the grill, and her mouth is nothing but scar tissue. Because if the button is so sharp that you can carve math into steel,
oh my god, yeah,
and you're sucking on that thing, you have no feeling in your mouth.
Oh my god,
that's the worst canker sore you'd ever get.
Oh yeah, you like the fact that she doesn't just have bloody teeth from just the cuts and slices.
No, she's just good.
Just spitting out blood as she talks. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I would never think to suck on a button, but I'm going to start sucking on buttons.
Yeah? You're going to suck on the world's sharpest button?
I'm going to not only suck on the button, but I'm going to like spit the button out at the right time when we really need a button. Like say we get into a jam and we're like, oh shit.
I wish we had something where we could prop this door open just a little bit and far enough to get our fingies in there.
And then I'll come out of the darkness. Hey guys.
Just right into someone's other mouth.
Yeah.
I immediately thought of Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, here, take this button.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, if the chick from Drag Me to Hell had the same generous attitude with buttons, we would have no problems throughout that whole movie.
Yeah, that movie would have been
right away.
Would have been half the length.
Yeah, fucking would.
There's a lot of really good lines in this movie. Mm-hmm. Just, because it's old. I don't know if it's because it's old, if it's the writing that makes them seem like they're just like the best lines ever. But like, there's one where they're trying to figure out how many rooms are in this big cube. Mm-hmm. And then they like lay it out like there could be millions.
Yeah.
And Holloway's just like, well, there had better not be. Good. All right. Sure thing. We're on it.
Also, like, she has some weird aversion to swearing at the very beginning. She's like realizing after talking to the other people once they meet what kind of situation they're in, and her version of Jesus Christ is holy cats.
Yeah, so weird.
This situation merits a more extreme swear word than holy cats.
And you know what? You're in a room with like 5 people. I don't think any of them are gonna mind if you say
nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
And they swear later on in the movie too, so it's not like, oh, I better protect this Mormon sensitive ears or something.
Oh, there's a child in the room. I better say gosh dang it instead of God fuck shit ass.
We're gonna fucking die in this piece of shit garbage fuck box. That's me in that box.
That would have, as soon as I open my eyes, that's what I say.
What the fuck is this?
I say that every morning until I realize I'm not in a cube. Until I see the doors, I'm like, oh, okay, whew, this is not a cube.
You just wake up with stuck in a cube energy.
Yeah, please never put me in a cube.
I would hate that. This is my fucking worst nightmare, by the way. And like 14 feet, that's a decent amount of space.
It is.
But I can't see shit. There's no windows in this. It's just hatch doors, which are like tool and die machines. And so I was mad. I was mad for a couple reasons here. Mm-hmm. If I wake up in a box and I see a hatch on the wall and I open it and there's another box, guess what? I'm done.
Yeah.
I might not even try the other hatches. That's what I'm in for when I look through that little corridor. I'm sitting right down in the middle.
That is spirit breaking. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, dude.
If you could, it wouldn't be so bad if you could leave them all open and just like open all of them and just leave them all the doors open, but they always close after a while.
And there's no real clear way to tell when they're going to close or not.
Yeah.
At the beginning, they do almost right away. And then later on, they're just poking their heads through all the time.
Yeah. They open as long as they want them to stay open at some point.
Yeah. Going into this and having seen more recently the sequels, specifically Cube Zero, which has Worth in it. Because it's a prequel.
Okay.
And you find out throughout the course of the movie that he's the one who built the fucking outside of this thing. Mm-hmm. And he describes himself as I'm just an office guy who goes to work doing office things. Which so fucking thanks for the clarity.
Yeah.
You might as well have said nothing at all.
Absolutely.
But his office things, I guess, are to design death machines for unknown buyers.
Yeah, it's just an office job. Like just pushing papers around his desk,
Occasionally I'll get an email from an advertising company or something like, hey, we'd like to partner with you. Mm. I don't even trust those. One time I almost had my identity stolen by somebody out of Toronto. who had it was a job offer on legitimate hiring website for an administrative assistant. And the first thing they did was, we're going to give you $2,000 a month to cash checks for us, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll send you a check with for some money. And then I got the check, and this is over the course of maybe 2 days.
Okay.
I got the fucking check, and I was like, first of all, this is already, I'm dubious, because that's a high rate of pay for somebody who just goes to the bank twice a week. And then I got the check. They're like, send us a picture of the check to confirm that you got it. So I sent them a picture of the check they sent, as opposed to like the bank transaction receipt, which, because they wanted me to deposit it into my account so that they could access it later on. Like, I could just send them back the money as they needed it.
Yeah.
So that they could book hotels and stuff, because it was like a traveling, some kind of fucking marketing business, whatever. So they're like, no, we want the transaction receipt with your banking information on it. And I was like, well, no.
Yeah.
No, though.
Yeah.
And then I looked up the address, and the address that they posted on the actual job ad was just a parking lot in like an industrial business.
Love it.
And I was like, hey. And then I had to contact a law firm that they said that they represented, and they were like, yeah, we don't know who they are. You're not the first person.
That's fucking
a cop's
dirty.
gonna call you.
Yeah.
And they never did, but damn, son.
Yeah. Yeah,
They just wanted it in my fucking bank account.
the next picture they would have got sent would have been the check that I would have wiped my ass with. There's your check, buddy.
That's my signature right there.
Yeah.
And my point being, I did it in brown crayon. My point being, somebody goes, I'm going to give you a ton of money to design a cube for me. I don't know about that, folks.
Yeah, and then because he describes it as being like there's just nobody at the top. It's just there's project is just happening. Like nobody is in charge. Everybody's just building pieces.
It sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
It really does.
It sounds like Avon.
It does. It sounds
just selling me perfume door to door.
It's like a sentient cube on its own that just had itself designed somehow.
What's the fucking? I think it's Leaven that her knee jerk reaction is, "It's fucking aliens."
Yeah, and everybody's like, "Oh, let's not do aliens."
And I thought of you right away.
Yeah,
because I was like, if Matt woke up in a box with all of these weird symbols that seem to look like a foreign language, almost a space language, he's gonna think this fucking aliens.
Oh my god,
we're abducted in his mind.
That was my first thought. Yeah, absolutely. Like, well, who else would build something like aliens?
Yeah, it must be aliens, dude.
But yeah, they curbed that because it just could not be. It couldn't be aliens.
That's impossible.
Oh yeah,
that's
absolutely.
too far outside the realm of the possible. Like, let alone we're in a giant box, a 26 by 26 box, for crying out loud.
And Quentin's theory was rich guys' entertainment. Like they were watching them just walk around in boxes.
What a chip you must have on your fucking shoulder as a police officer to be like, I don't even like my lieutenant, let alone the people who control the police.
Yeah.
I just hate everybody above me.
Fucking cops, man. All cops are bastards. I wrote that down. As soon as he started going wild, I was like, yeah, typical cop.
Well, here we are again.
Typical cop, bastards.
Yeah. We're just going to throw a weight around.
So what would be your least favorite trap? Going cube to cube. What trap, if you encountered it, would be your least favorite?
So I was a little bit disappointed by this movie because I remembered it having more death by traps in it.
I think you're thinking of the next two.
Yeah, there's only two real like trap deaths. Oh, good elbow slam just then.
That was my elbow.
Hope you liked that.
I didn't actually.
There's the one at the beginning, and then there's fucking Rennes, and nobody else dies. Everybody else dies by like hubris and mean people they're stuck with.
Yeah,
those are the two things that you get. My least favorite would be one where the walls slowly close.
Okay. Yeah, that one's
go fuck yourself, die. I'll just end I'll slam my head against the floor until I die.
Yeah, I mean, take yourself up before the walls do.
Yeah, because then you're just sitting there waiting to be like squished.
Yeah,
I don't even like tight hugs. So fuck all that.
I'm not a fan of like those telescoping spikes that we talked about earlier.
You didn't like those?
No, like because like it's a sound trap, right?
Yeah.
They were all fine. They were like, oh, it's good. And then all of a sudden spikes. So like, of course I'd jump in. I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, we're fine.
There's no worries at all.
The second I hit the ground, I'm full of metal.
Yeah.
And like, it's going to happen so fast that like your body's still going to be like alive.
Yeah.
And
There will be
aware.
brain synapse and like just enough time for you for 10 seconds to like look at the shreds of yourself on the ground.
Yeah.
Around you.
Exactly.
Oh, that's my arm and hand right there. Not that I can really tell.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know if this is my eyeball on the end of the spike, but I feel like I'm a lot taller.
It just shoots you up halfway.
This movie actually inspired a game. I just went and looked it up because I have it in my Steam library. It's called Half Dead.
Oh,
and you go from room to room with traps in it.
I think we've played that shit.
Oh, it's a $2 game.
Yeah.
If you're looking to experience this movie, it's on Steam.
The fear therein.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like the one where it was a bunch of like metal strings that Quentin almost dies from. They're like strings that surround you like you're in a shower with the shower head right over top of you.
I think he called it the sushi machine.
Yeah, and then they fucking like twist.
Yeah.
In order for you to just become microscopic blood and guts. I will say, however, the one that kills the guy at the very beginning is more like a sushi machine.
Yeah, more so.
Because, it's just like a grid that makes sashimi. I'm pretty sure that's how you make sushi.
People shimi. What would be your strategy? Like, would you like the boot? I mean, I know you just would sit there until you die.
Yeah, you're just going to get right into it. So, more things happen in this movie, but toward the end, they discover that the cubes themselves shift on a timer.
Yes.
Based on the coordinates on the serial numbers in the corridors in between them. They also learned that had they not moved at all, they would have been just fine.
Yeah.
So guess what? My strategy, I get right out of there.
Yeah, you do.
No fucking problem whatsoever.
Yeah, you do.
One of the cubes in this series is a bridge to bridge the gap between the outer shell that Idiot built and the actual series of cubes inside. And that's the one they start in.
It's important to note there's like a gap.
Yeah.
There's a gap between the cubes and the outer shell.
That's at least 14 feet.
Yeah.
Probably. And as a matter of fact, it's exactly 14 feet, not counting the outside diameter of the cubes. Because when Quentin inevitably gets crushed.
Yes, he does.
There is not enough space for meat. He just becomes a smear on the wall.
Yes, he does. It's like a little red crayon drawing.
These are extremely uniform cubes.
Follow Quentin's trail. Yeah, they get to a part where they finally find like the edge of all the cubes. And look, I don't care. You're not going to catch me dangling outside of this. Because I don't know how Holloway decides. It was her turn.
Yeah, they take turns going in and out of these cubes just to make sure that they're not trapped.
Yeah, so it was her turn, and they're at the edge. So I don't know what they were trying to accomplish by creating a rope of all their clothes and then dangling Holloway out the side of the cube.
What they wanted to do, I believe, was to get her to swing across the gap to the outside wall that clearly had nothing to grab onto.
Yeah, exactly.
So why would you bother?
You wouldn't catch me, first of all, hang out there. Swinging voluntarily? I don't think so. I would be immediately just like, pull me up, guys. It's just as I thought. Nothing.
It sucks out here.
Yep.
Get me in. So there's like it looks like acoustic foam on the outside of these.
Yeah, it does.
If you were a boulderer, you'd be just fine.
Yeah.
If your job is like fingertip mountain climbing, you can get up and down the outside of this cube without issue at all.
My hands are getting sweaty, and you're just talking about an activity.
About it.
That's not good.
I wouldn't imagine you even, like, you'd stick your head out, look down, see that you can't see the bottom, and go, nah.
Yep.
I know you guys really don't want to backtrack, but I'm backtracking as far away from this as I can.
Yeah, for real. We're going to find another door.
Yeah.
This door's bad. This is a bad door.
This is a bad door.
Yeah, the coordinates on the inside.
Yeah.
And so they got Levin's doing this math, right?
Mm-hmm. And because she's the only person who knows a lick of math.
Yeah.
In this entire cube.
Like, I don't know math.
No.
But I noticed that everybody else in the room, they're very trustworthy. They're just like, oh yeah, I don't want to do math.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like I would at least. It's my life depended on it. I'm gonna look at the math. I'm just gonna be like, okay.
Might do a little plus and minus on a wall somewhere or something, just to make sure it adds up.
I don't understand
that this 14-year-old girl is telling me.
Yeah, I would like to make sure at least, it looks good
it's
to me.
within the realm of possibility before I stick my head into a mincing machine.
Yeah, but everybody's just like, okay, yeah, math. You got the math? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Math is hard and you know how to do it. So.
I don't even have my calculator on me, so yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Don't worry.
My God.
Yeah, they take her at her word really quickly.
Yeah, that's
after having an argument like for fucking 10 minutes about why they're in there even.
Right.
She's just like, hey man, it's math. Cool.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You know what? That's probably better than me thinking of something. So you got this. You got this. Yeah. So, because Holloway she's hanging there. She gets dropped.
She gets dropped by Quentin after. Now, Quentin's whole thing is, and he says it twice. That's why it's this whole thing. He's capable of reading people like he's an X-ray.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird fucking line.
It's an odd thing to compare yourself to.
Yeah.
There are other things that also read that don't just read bones.
Yeah.
That's all that X-rays read is fucking bones and cancer. Sometimes both at once.
Yeah, they're looking for clouds and bones.
Yeah, so his whole point is that he can figure out who people are really quick. And he doesn't really ever display that talent.
No, he does not.
All he does is feel like Worth is suspicious, and then Worth outs himself.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't... Quentin's not out here trying all that hard. Now, and on top of that, Holloway... gets dropped right out of that cube.
Oh, she does.
Because she was able to read him better than he could read anything in the whole movie.
Yeah, there was a throwaway line and she's like, that's why your wife left you. And I was like, did she just assume that? Does she actually know? Because he drops her because like she knew too much about my family.
Yeah, he said that at the beginning that he was separated from his wife and had 3 kids.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Yeah. I did miss that
also, like, fuck you for that then, because it was his idea to make stupid small talk to keep everybody's minds off of the horrible death trap that they're in the first place.
Yeah.
So don't go ahead, like, turn around and throw that into somebody's face.
Yeah.
Now, the best part of that conversation... though, on top of that's why your wife left you, which is just so rude.
It is.
She ups the ante even further by being like, also, you like little girls, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
And then
she does say that.
She apparently hit the nail on the head so hard that the nail hit back.
Oh, yeah.
Because he slaps her dead in the face for that.
Yeah, he does.
You'll notice, however, that he does not say that it's a lie. And then he massages Levin's neck so good.
Yeah, he makes it real. So the second Holloway dies,
yeah,
Quentin takes over and he rules with an iron boot.
Yeah, he does.
It takes him like 10 minutes to just start whooping Worth with a boot.
Yeah. All right. The doctor's gone. I'm Hitler now.
Yeah. I'm gonna do something no doctor can fix. Just gives him the boot.
A couple boots.
And then
he tries to get right up in that poor mathematician's body a little bit.
Yeah, they do.
That was his way of trying to reestablish trust with her after murdering someone, is to like, hey, I'm going to come up behind you and I'm going to whisper in your ear about how we're all in this together.
He doesn't just do that. He like picks her up and carries her to another cube.
Yeah, because he wants it to just be the two of them.
Yeah. And like if you're going one cube over, like you can still hear through the cubes.
Yeah.
The cubes aren't like paper thin, but you can still hear people talking on the other side.
You hear Kazan screaming from discomfort.
Yeah.
Just as clear as day.
Yeah, you do. But yeah, so he makes it weird.
Oh, the doctor's gone. Let's get her alone now.
He makes some sort of reference about how she's like the key and he's the lock.
Yeah.
And she's going to fit real nice.
Yeah, he fucking says all that. I'm going to slide my key in that lock or some shit like that.
Yeah, and then, yeah, that's where it gets really fucking weird.
Yeah, and you want to blame the lack of sleep because he's got them on a fucking hour sleep schedule. Hey, she's doing too much math and her head hurts. Okay, let's rest. You got an hour.
Not only do you got an hour, you've got a Quentin hour because there's no clocks. He's like, An hour's up when I say it is,
Yeah.
which is the last sentence spoken before the 1 hour mark in the movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Nice little
Nice
thing to put in there for people who are paying attention.
Little nod and wink.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, fuck you. What if an hour to him is like 2 days?
For real. Like,
It's just a really long hour.
Yeah, because like you could sleep and then wake up and like there's no clocks, there's no sun.
No.
There's no way to
It's
know.
all artificial light. It's
Yeah.
like fucking working in an office where the shutters are closed all the time.
Or like a goddamn casino.
Yeah, that was the second thing I was going to say. They do that shit on purpose.
So yeah, so that happens. I think they keep moving despite the fact that Quentin became a creepy weirdo.
Yeah.
And they like keep like a 10-foot like diet, like a whole perimeter around Leaven the whole time after that, because he like keeps kind of swooping in. She's like, no.
Yeah.
You keep in your corner.
Stay back, freak.
Yeah. And then they come back to the room that Ren is in, and that's when they discover the rooms move.
Mm-hmm.
The rooms move.
They sure do.
And Quentin goes from like beating Worth with a boot to being like, you know what? Maybe you're right.
Yeah. So this
Sorry about
is
that boot, my friend.
kind of a thing that I think is like good character writing, as unfortunate as it is.
Mm-hmm.
But like abusers, like career abusers, which also explains why he's a cop.
Yeah.
Have basically 2 rounds in the chamber. One of them is to try to take as much control of a situation as humanly possible, and then when that can't be accomplished, just beat the shit out of everything.
There you go.
And then so they get back to the room, realize that they just went in a giant circle basically, and he's got nothing left. Well, I can't beat the shit out of this problem.
This problem's got acid face.
Yeah, and I don't want to touch it because you probably get acid on your fingers.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, he just he just sobs.
He's
Good.
He's just a big piece of shit the whole movie. And then
Turns into a drooly baby for like 10 minutes.
yeah, he tries to ditch Kazan too at one point.
Yeah.
At the sound trap. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we'll just leave him. We'll come back for him. And then Holloway's like, no, you won't.
Now, Leaven also had no intention of coming back for him
That's fair.
whatsoever. Which, again, psychopath.
And then they figure out that he's the only one who can like help them get out because
It turns out the math is even harder math than we thought.
Yeah, I guess none of these guys had watched Rain Man previously.
You see that hand move like that? You're like, oh, that's the smartest person in this room.
He's computing. That's me counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, no, he's I don't know why they didn't like, hey, numbers, man. How about you? And then he goes, yeah,
I bet
all
your
of them.
numbers are your favorite thing, aren't they?
But he hates the color red.
Yeah, it's because red, when broken down into its 2 combination colors, equals 23. He just hates the number 23, like Jim Carrey.
Oh my god,
that makes sense.
All right, I mean it does.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird fucking movie.
Love that movie.
I don't like watching Jim Carrey have sex. So anytime Jim Carrey's gonna have sex,
Really like aggressive, animalistic hardwood floor sex.
I mean, good on you, Jim.
Yeah.
As a child, I watched you in The Mask, so it's not something I'm like prepared to see sometimes.
You imagine fucking Jim Carrey talking out of his asshole while he's plowing a girl?
Oh yeah, can I ask you a question? Or like even just like
That's his pickup line.
Even worse, like him like going from behind and then doing that to like her butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Just
Come in, Jim.
having a conversation with her ass from behind.
Oh, yeah, I'd hate.
Oh my god.
That's not good.
Yeah. So back to the move. Ditching Quentin was a great move.
Yeah.
When they
For all that, suddenly he becomes fucking Superman, and he can see through walls because it takes no time for him to catch up.
Oh yeah.
Despite probably because they drop him down one into another cube and he busts his head open.
Yeah, which is like that's like some Rambo move there.
It was awesome.
Because he opened it from underneath, or did it just open up?
I think they open the hatch up top, and then from the inside, the other ones just push open. That's what it seems like. Because I don't remember seeing that handle dial thing that you have to turn a safe in order to open them on the insides. So it could be that they both I don't quite remember if you open one, the other one just opens automatically.
Yeah,
or if you got to push it.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that part. I just remember, he falls through a hatch and like busts his skull.
Yeah, but then he, like I said, like he's got no problem figuring out where the fuck they are in this whole cube after that.
So maybe he does. Maybe he is like an X-ray.
Yeah. Turns out he can use X-ray vision.
Yeah, like this. So the second you see him like bleeding from the head, you're like, oh well, that's not the last we're gonna see of him.
No. Because you didn't double tap.
Yeah, you can't just solve a problem like that. You definitely got to drop a brick.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or a boot. Give him a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah. But then they get 8 cubes ahead, and boom, there he is.
Hey, man, I'm right here. So in addition to being on the walls, obviously there are also hatches on the floors and ceiling. They find out that they got to use a ceiling hatch at some point, and again. Had I not already chosen to sit down until I starved to death, when I find out I have to fucking climb across 7 feet of, just scratch that chair, of ceiling on nothing but bars and hang.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even do the jungle gym on a playground. I'm not getting up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your fucking upper body strength that's just an option for you?
Yeah, there's no going up for me.
No.
At all, like
even climbing halfway up. Yeah,
you're talking about hanging from a bar. My hands are just moist.
You'd be having a terrible time getting from one to another. You're just like, I'll just take the trap room and try to be real quiet.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fine.
Like even when they move through the trap room with the sound trap where you got to be quiet. The fact that they were able to hang from monkey bars and not grunt.
Yeah,
that's a skill. That's a skill I don't possess.
I literally wrote that. Where is it? Because I gotta find it now. First of all, math is the most boring thing to make a passage of time montage about.
Yeah, that was.
There's a whole montage in this movie where it's just shots of Leaven fucking looking at numbers and reading them.
Yeah, and then I think Quentin's just like, yeah, you read that math.
Gear up scenes, a lot of the time it'll be something cool. Fucking Batman's putting his codpiece on. You get to see his like nips and ass in the suit. Or people are just fucking the Matrix, and they just swing in shelves of automatic weapons.
I fucking love that scene.
Nah, man. Math.
We need math. Lots of math. And then, just equations swing in on shelves. Yes, pi. Perfect.
This is the one I wanted. It's the longest. Anyway, I did literally write fucking. I can't even use the jungle gym without grunting.
Yeah. There's no way.
I'm dead.
Yeah. The second I go.
Yeah.
Just like pulling myself up.
I fucking can't even climb stairs without making noises like that.
I make that sound sitting up sometimes. There's no. Yeah. There's no getting around it. If there's a room with a sound trap, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead right away.
It's over. I'll cough quietly or loudly.
And with the sound trap, I had my one qualm of the entire movie.
Okay.
Of the entire movie.
I had a couple.
You had a couple? I had one for sure. And it's that with the sound trap, and they're like, oh, why didn't the trap, why didn't it go off when the sound of the doors? Oh, they must have rigged it so it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
There's your answer.
Cool. Good.
We're not going to go into the logistics of how that's impossible or anything.
Had you not put that in there, I wasn't even thinking that.
You wouldn't have thought of that?
I was like, holy fuck, spikes.
They said that, and I immediately started paying attention to, and this is the thing, right? When they're moving through that room, the Kazan there gets his fucking pant leg caught on the handle to the floor hatch. If these spikes know what these hatches sound like, just kick that shit off of you.
Yeah, for real.
It becomes a whole thing where he makes a noise. Almost. He opens his mouth to make a noise.
But thank God he has that.
Like, oh, chill.
Come on, don't you grunt. Don't you.
Save it.
You can make all the noises you want once you climb through the hole.
Pretend you're in church. And then goes over and like helps him, and it's supposed to be this really tense scene, but it's like, oh, you're stuck on a hatch. Nah, just fucking done.
Yup.
It's not going to respond to the hatch noises.
For real.
There was that, and then also the fucking speed with which Worth opens that door. If we've established that it doesn't react to the sound that hatches make, fucking rip that hatch open and get out of there right away.
Yeah, for real.
And that's a thing in this movie that pissed me off so bad, especially at the end. When there's urgency, move fast.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
You already know the doors are going to close.
Yeah. You're in the cube. You know it moves. You know you have an amount of time to get out into the sunlight that's clearly visible.
Yeah.
Don't stand there appreciating the fact that there's sunlight.
I'd be shoving people out of the way.
100%. Get me the fuck. One time I was stuck in an elevator because I happened to be friends with idiots who jumped and got it stuck between floors. We pried those doors the fuck open, and the only thing that stopped me from leaving immediately was my fear of getting cut in half.
That's a good fear to have. That's a fear that's going to keep you alive.
However, when the two, I don't know, maintenance people or whatever showed up, and they were like, give us a second, we'll go get a ladder. I went, fuck that, and I left that elevator immediately. It took no time for me to leave that fucking elevator after that.
Yup.
I scrambled up that shit like I was starving and there was food up there.
Yeah, no.
That should be your motivation moving through this cube.
When you're in a situation, it's get out.
So don't be so goddamn slow is all I'm saying.
Yeah, because they hesitated long enough for Quentin to catch up with them and ram a pole through him.
Yeah.
So much so he lifted... Leaven must weigh like 8 pounds because he lifted her up off the ground with ease.
Yeah, well, he also fucking threw Worth through one of the hatch doors. So
that's fair. That's fair.
He's got super strength. Kazan is the autistic one in the movie, but Quentin's the one with the retard strength.
Jesus Christ. All right, well, I mean, you do, there's a bit of a point there.
Another thing that fucking Quentin says right after massaging this poor girl's shoulders is, it's time to go down.
Yeah, he does say that.
Oh my.
I was really hoping he was referring to like down, like to the next cube down. Like, hey, we're going to get out of here. Let's go down a cube.
I'm sure, but at the same time, I think he knew exactly what he was saying.
I know. Quentin has like, cause yeah, there's a couple good lines. You got Holloway with hers. Quentin, however, I don't know if you remember this gem of a line.
I remember a couple.
You're all dried up inside there, aren't you? That's your fucking problem. Too much heat, Quentin. Too much fucking heat there.
That's why you got called a child rapist.
Yeah.
You accused a woman of being barren.
Yeah, like...
You opened the fucking door right there, man.
Yeah. First of all, you have to live in this cube.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, come on. Come on now.
Stop trying to open up horrible cans.
You can say things, but... Have some wherewithal, because you got to live in this cube for the next however long with these people.
Until you die,
Good
ostensibly.
God, Quentin.
Chill. I think it's kind of ironic that he's the one who can read people, yet anybody who watches this movie is going to be able to tell that he's a dick from the fucking very start.
Yeah.
The first thing he does really is grab a guy and like rip him through a hatch and throw him onto the ground.
Yeah, karate style.
And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, but are you?
Yeah. What were you? What was the plan? Beat a guy to death for no reason?
I assume there's danger. I'm just going to shoot first and ask questions later, quite like a police officer does.
Yeah.
It's all that training.
It is. Fucking cops are always bastards and always on edge.
I did also write down you're all dried up inside there. So we were going to get to it eventually.
Yeah. I definitely was like, hey, hold on now.
In that fucking trap room, they make one of the biggest mistakes they make in the whole movie, which is they decide to send more than one person through the room at one time.
That's such a good point.
If you're going to possibly die, at least limit the body count.
Yeah, for real. One at a time.
One guy gets through, I think it's worth, and then they're like, okay, we're sending everyone. Let's just all go quick.
Funnel them in.
Yeah, as if they can't like collide into each other and go, ouchie, or something. You're just making it worse.
Apparently in that scene, I didn't notice it, but it's apparently noticeable. I think it's when Kazan is climbing. He climbs in such a way that he moves the entire set, and and I guess it jostles back and forth for him. I didn't notice that, but it was in like some trivia for the movie.
That's fucking funny. One of the things I noticed as far as the set design was that these doors are so flimsy.
Yeah,
you could probably like flick it and break it off.
Yeah,
they pull these fucking hatches out and they just wobble on the track that they're on the whole time.
But it's government made.
Yeah,
so
this is very high tech and high budget.
The little, like, even the whatever, the vault door,
Yeah.
whatever, the spinny thing. That's
It's a fucking tool and die.
yeah, exactly.
apparatus.
Yeah, it's like if you had known that, like, looking at this movie, you'd be like, what's this?
Am I making machine parts here?
I recognize one of those. So you use one of those on my lathe. So
You
the
must
one
have
tool I
designed
know.
it, and then nobody trusts you.
Yeah.
because you just know what that is.
Exactly. Oh shit. I mean, like, this movie, it's good. It's a good movie.
It's
a fun original movie.
I will definitely speak to its originality for sure.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
How many of these do you know?
Well, there's Cube 1, there's Cube 2, there's Cube 3. All good cubes.
These are all good cubes. The one that I like the least probably is the second one.
Is that Hypercube? That's Hypercube, yeah.
Because it's physically fucking impossible.
No, it's a movie.
If you're... that's another thing that I wrote down here. The fucking suspension of disbelief at this point in this movie, like, it's got to be so fucking high. Just from a design standpoint, at what... It's the same thing as when people say the moon landing was faked.
Yeah.
The whole premise about how this got built without anybody calling, like, human rights violation and talking to the UN is that the builder or the person who wanted to build it contacted each person involved in building it individually. You're going to sit there and tell me that you could shut up every single one of those people about what you're making?
Yeah.
And Holloway's like, well, that's how they keep it quiet. They just they make sure nobody can talk to each other. I'm going right on Twitter with that.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
Just got a sick contract, building a death trap.
Look at this cube.
Isn't this cube fucking crazy?
It reminds me of a Family Guy when it's hold on.
We got box. We got this motherfucker dicking around with boxes in here today. Oh, is it the garbage?
Yeah, the garbage has got cat stuff in it.
Oh, perfect.
Take it out.
She's a cat burglar, literally.
Now, nobody's going to the bathroom for the next 15. Oh, okay, well, that's fine too.
So, and fuck, and shit and piss. Yeah.
So it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that scene in Family Guy when it's they're talking about the Bat Cave, and it's like, Batman, you had to go build a Lazy Susan for your car.
Yeah.
People are going to talk about that. That's something people are going to talk about.
This is good water cooler conversation.
Yeah.
We've already established that Worth works in an office. You're going out you're grabbing water and you're like, look at the size of this fucking thing I'm designing by a mystery man for insane money.
Yeah, that's a brag. That's a brag right there.
The fucking Huffington Post is going to catch on to this shit in a week and a half.
Yeah, with the amount of people who are just ready to leak.
Yeah. Although I guess this is like very common internet usage, so you might have a little bit more time.
Maybe that's why he got put in the cube.
Because he couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, and now he's in the cube. I do like, however, like, somebody contacted Worth, this guy sitting in an office, and they're like, look, you know what a square is? 6 that. Let's make that a cube.
And then Worth goes, okay, what's going inside that? Never mind.
Well, like, you tell me you can't draw a cube? I could draw a cube for you right now.
Anybody can draw a fucking cube, folks.
Yeah, and like, I don't know if his special ability would be like for scale or something, but like, it's a cube.
He wasn't even in charge of where the doors went.
Yeah.
That was somebody else too.
So he sat there just like, square, okay, square. Now, if we connect these lines,
oh my God,
I believe this is what you're looking for.
And they go, awesome. Here's hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably.
Now, can we put several smaller cubes inside that? I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Seems a little bit above my pay grade, though. We'll get someone else to do it. It's fine.
Oh, my God.
Oh, fucking great question, all right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Whose job is it to clean this cube out?
That is a good one, because
you're putting 7 people at least at a time in this thing, and with the purpose for them to die so messily. Who's the janitor for this cube?
He's old Sweepy. That's his fucking name.
Old fucking Sweepy's got his work cut out for him every week.
What is it there? I think they figure out there's like 17,000 rooms.
Yeah.
That's a lot of rooms to check.
It sure is. And some of them got traps in them. You're going to shut it down while old Sweepy's in there for fucking 2.5 months cleaning this thing?
For real, though. Yeah, that's like...
You're going to tell me he's not going to get lost?
There's at least 7 rooms full of blood, and he's got to find them.
Yeah, in this 26 by 20. That's so many.
It is.
Holy fuck, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, you got to get the pieces of people out of, like, the little holes that the traps come out of and shit. All right, activate this trap so I can clean the blood off the spikes.
Yeah.
Ah, whoops, you got me.
And it's just this old man with, like, one of those, like, push cart. It's got the broom slots and, like, the garbage can part on it, and he's going from cube to cube, and he's just, like, putting an arm in the bag.
So he's got to haul that whole cart through those little fucking corridors between the cubes every time?
He absolutely does.
Dude, he must be ripped.
No, he's decrepit. Just the opposite. From years of cube work, he's decrepit.
He's just like this pale, gaunt, poor old man.
Yeah.
Just like, I gotta pay off my student loans somehow.
Yeah, man, if you got some student loans, the cube work is a good way to pay it off. It's better than stripping. It's better than stripping.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
You're
my
inside,
God.
probably air conditioning. I'm sure you're comfortable. Bring a couple sandwiches.
Yeah, you're gonna want a couple sandwiches.
You're also gonna want a map.
You know what? A map would be perfect.
Whether you draw it yourself or, geez, like a fucking roguelike video game where you get the fucking map as you go through each room in the top right corner, it reveals itself.
Oh my God. Yeah. I would hope they would at least shut it down for him.
Yeah.
Just like turn off the cube.
At least just like, yeah, because you got to keep the bridge open.
Yeah. you gotta fork all those dead body parts out there somehow.
Flip the cube switch just as a courtesy for this poor guy.
Right. And of course, there's gonna be one day the new guy. What's the switch off for? Oh no, Sweepy! Sweepy, no!
Where are you gonna find another one of him?
Yeah, it's quite the job too. So the fact that he doesn't complain at all,
yeah,
it's hard work. You're never gonna find another Sweepy.
And also, he ostensibly doesn't tell anybody about what his job detail is.
Yeah. What did Grandpa do for work? You keep your fucking mouth shut. You shut your fucking mouth right now.
You put food on the table. You mind your business.
His name was Sweepy, and he swept. The movie shot 20 days.
Yeah,
that's all it took.
Oh, fucking 20 days.
20 days in one cube.
And one box with gel lights that would just get switched out. And
they shot it in order of color.
Yeah,
because
color
it was too
sequence.
big of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, instead of sequence.
Yeah. Just some important facts about the movie, I guess, there.
I hope that they did the red rooms first. I read a thing about, because Worth has that whole fucking nihilistic montage, or not montage, monologue.
Oh, yes.
About like the futile nature of attempting to escape. And the corporate machine that exists silently behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, he goes, well, I feel better. And so there's one of the trivia lines. It was like a speculative, that was probably a very authentic response to having the longest piece of dialogue in the entire movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And having to shoot that within a 20-day budget. So it's like, okay, memorize 3 paragraphs and don't fuck them up.
Oh, yeah, get that out of the way immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I wouldn't be able to relax. I'm halfway through this fucking Cube movie. And oh, man, it's coming.
Here it comes.
Oh, I can't even remember my address most days.
Oh, my God. The first scene that got cut out of the movie was at the very end of the movie.
Yeah, where you actually get to see outside.
Right?
I feel like that was a very wise choice.
I think so, too. I don't think I would have wanted to see what a giant cube in a desert looks like.
No, and it wouldn't have provided like any good to the movie at all, just to see the exterior of it, because the whole point is that you're in it.
Yeah, and
the movie ends once you get out of the cube.
I kind of like not knowing what's out there, too. Because, like, what if it's worse?
What if it's fucking Ed McMahon with a giant check? Like, congratulations! You made it!
And it's just Kazan. Just, by the way, he would be covered in blood because Quentin was just holding on to him and got sliced in half.
Yeah.
So he would have half a Quentin hanging off of him. And just like $10,000
writhing around, bleeding horribly.
Yeah.
He just fucking walks out, one hand doing the fucking stim thing and the other one dragging half a torso. This is my friend now.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I definitely, I could live my life without knowing what's out there.
How's fucking old Sweepy mopping the Quentin off the side of that giant building that they're stuck in?
That's a whole process. They got to get a power washer in there.
Yeah.
They got to suspend that from the ceiling.
Okay, turn the cube on for half a second, and he just moves sideways a little bit and keeps going like a window washer.
Yup. Oh my god. So out of 10, what are you giving the cube?
It's
cube.
not,
It's cube.
It's not for
it's
the
not the
love
cube.
of God.
It's
not
cube.
the cube.
Please, no. 1997 cube.
Cube.
What are you giving out of 10?
I give cube 6.5 out of 10.
Oh,
A bit of a low score, I know.
it is.
But
Ow.
it's strictly because I wanted more deaths that weren't just one shitty man causing them.
That's fair.
One shitty man with a bad attitude. The second that he loses even a little bit of control of a situation.
Well, I mean, he had that boot. What do you expect him to do?
The most useful person in this entire movie is Leaven.
Yep.
Right underneath, almost tied for most useful. If he had lived longer, he would be. Is fucking Rennes. Because he shows up when they don't know anything about anything, and he's like, hey, I'm taking my boot off and throwing it into this room first, so I don't have to stick my head in here and have it decapitated.
Yeah, didn't he
And the button thing.
And he put his head in there and he like sniffed, and he's like, this room doesn't smell right.
No.
And it was like
it smells like dry air.
Yeah.
And then so it's like it senses the moisture on your skin when you get in there.
It must, yeah.
Yeah. So he knew so many fucking things.
He would have been
somebody who was in 6 jails. He knew a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm so mad that he died right away because that would have been a great character for the movie.
Yeah, he's probably overpowered, and so that's why they killed him off.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, we're out of this cube in 30 minutes because I'm still here.
They dangled the meat in front of them and then just fucking yanked it away. Here's the guy who's gonna get you out. Acid face.
Acid face. Matter of fact, we're moving a trap into this room just to get him.
Yeah. Here's the guy who's going to get you out, and here's what the inside of his head looks like. This is what he's thinking.
Yeah, try and tap those thoughts.
Damn, 6.
And so I wanted more trap deaths.
Okay.
And I wanted... There were a couple other things that were like less egregious that don't really matter all that much. I really wish that they had just been able to sense that Quentin was a fucking asshole and been like, bye, like way early. Everything would have gone so much more smoothly.
Yeah.
And he really provides nothing but brute strength as like a plus to having him around.
It's not something you really need in a cube.
No, because it's a finite amount of space. What are you trying to do? He's not particularly helpful. He's pretty selfish.
Nothing to lift.
He tries to ditch half the group.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, how does it feel now? And I would have just done the same thing where to just kick him down a hole and leave him. But we're scrambling through cubes after that. We're putting distance between us and him.
God, yeah, for sure. Look, I know I shouldn't do this. I'm giving it a 9.
You're gonna 9 it up on cube.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, well, that's a strong factor.
Like I shouldn't be basing it off of nostalgia, but that's bumping it up.
I'll be honest with you. Like I would say, probably had I not seen Cabin Fever a million times and loved every second of it, it wouldn't have gotten such a high score from me either.
Okay.
So
Fair
you're
enough.
not the only one who nostalgia rates things.
All right. Because like, this is one of these movies that when I was at my dad's house and I was a kid, I flipped on. I was just like late night flipping through channels, come across Showcase, and it's like, what's this?
Oh man, Showcase.
It was. I didn't catch the first part of the movie. So I had no idea what was going on, but I sat there and I watched the whole fucking thing.
For those of you who don't remember actual television,
yeah,
Showcase was the best channel on Canadian TV for R-rated movies and the softest core of porn.
Well, you don't have to blow up what I was looking for. Flipping through channels late at night, but that's cool too.
You get two people humping on a couch, and it just looks like they're rubbing up against the couch the whole time.
Look, that show's called Red Shoe Diaries.
You just know.
And one time I saw it, they were in space and they were floating around, and I just like, this is too much.
That was the Jason X episode.
Oh, I fucking love that movie. That's gonna be another 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it again and see if it holds up like that.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9. It's Canadian. I like that.
It's true.
There's
There's a lot to be liked about it. It's scored deliberately low for me because I was underwhelmed. It didn't hold up to my memory of it.
Fair enough. I like things with a little bit of sci-fi twist. I like the practical effects were good. They only used CG when it was really necessary, I guess.
Where you had no other how are you going to make those traps practically?
Exactly. And then 9, it just reminded me of a simpler time where just like movies were there and you watched it and you're like, okay, I feel good about this.
Yeah. Nobody's guarding galaxies or eliminating half the population with a glove.
The movie didn't follow like it followed like, normal plot kind of movies, but it wasn't like, I don't know. It felt different and original. And that's what I liked about it. I thought it was an 80s movie just based on the premise.
What was it, like 98?
97.
97.
So I was like, oh, cool, 90s or 80s movie, based on premise alone. It seemed like a very weird old movie. But you know what? I liked it. We're definitely going to be doing the other 2, whether you like it or not, at some point. But yeah, no, it's if you haven't seen Cube, check it out.
Check it out. Despite my score, it's still slightly above average.
Look, and if none of this does it for you, the production company, they called themselves Cube Libre.
That's
so
great.
That's funny enough.
It sure is funny.
I think like when they first get together, they all have like they have this line. There's 3 of them participating in it, and they all say something about it being square or cubed. And I forget exactly what it was, but it made me laugh because there was like the one time they all got together and had a funny joke.
It's when Worth is describing the dimensions of the box he had to build.
Yes.
He says it's whatever, 26 fucking meters cubed, something like that.
Yeah.
And then that was another thing that pissed me off as somebody who has to do like eyeball measurements a lot. They find out that these cubes are 14 feet across. When Leaven, who probably has the tiniest feet in the room,
fair enough,
does that walk toe to heel
I've
across
never
the thing.
How is that reliable at all?
It isn't. I know firsthand that it's not, because one of the people who works at my plumbing company, who happens to be 6'7", likes to do it with his like size 15 feet. And it's way too much shit. Like that's way too far.
Yeah.
Like 7 feet for you is 3 feet for a normal person.
God damn it. Well, look, just because it's called a foot doesn't mean you use your feet to measure it.
It's not literal, unless your feet are literally 12 inches long.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
If anything, you've learned something this podcast.
Yeah.
It's your turn, man.
It's my turn.
What's next week?
I wanted to do... I'm torn between 2 right now, so I'm going to let you choose between them without telling you the titles.
Okay.
I wanted to keep with the theme of people being trapped in a place.
Okay.
So do you want the one where people go into a house and it traps them in there with bad things? Or do you want the one where people go into a house for money and they get trapped by bad people, but there are also bad things in it?
I think I know both of these movies.
I'll tell you right now, they're both ghosts.
Okay, so I definitely know the first one. So yeah, let's do 13 Ghosts.
It's fucking 13 Ghosts next week, guys.
I haven't seen it. Was right. That was the movie.
Yeah,
okay.
The other one was House on Haunted Hill.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. But
so I was super torn between them.
Oh my god, 13 Ghosts. That's one I again watched when it came out as a kid. And then never watched it again, so I'm excited to see what because I don't remember what it was about. I just remember there was a bunch of ghosts, and it was like science.
Yeah, there's definitely supernatural science involved.
Okay,
and there's Matthew Lillard, who you may know, as Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
Fuck, and he's also in Good Girls. And I
don't know what that is.
So it's this new show on Netflix.
Oh, so he's old now.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it was him until his voice cracked, and I'm like, holy shit. Is that what he looks like now?
It's fucking Shaggy. Yeah. He's thickened in the face.
Yeah.
With age.
I mean, that's what happens. That's life.
And yeah, you're probably right.
But like, yeah, no, I didn't recognize him until his voice cracked, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
He's in an episode of either fucking House or Grey's Anatomy as well. I can't remember which.
Wouldn't be surprised.
But he's just like a music dad.
Good old music dads.
Yes, and there's videos. He fucking apparently plays very good acoustic guitar, because there are videos of him online doing that.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I've seen this. I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah. So he's one of my personal idols. One of the reasons is because of 13 Ghosts.
Okay.
He's such a sarcastic asshole.
Okay.
The whole movie.
I'm excited.
Yeah, get stoked.
I forgot. I had one point I wanted to make. Kazan.
Yeah.
The guy who looks like he looks like Michael Rappaport or whatever his name is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
How is his last name pronounced? Because it isn't how I pronounced it.
Rappaport. You added
Rappaport? Okay.
It's like trying to spell banana. You added too many NAs.
Yeah, I Mississippi'd that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole time I was just like, that's funny. He looks like that guy.
He did look a little bit like him. I'll give you that. I was trying to do that like this is like the poor version of other people thing here. And for fucking Quentin, he looks a little bit like what Lawrence Fishburne used to look like when he was younger.
Maybe?
Like if you watch or Donald Glover was the other, not Donald, but Danny Glover. Okay. Whichever one was in Lethal Weapon. Like if you were to go back,
maybe, yeah.
And like he used to have like a mustache and his hair was a little bit longer. He looks a little bit like that. And then Leaven, I just got Christina Ricci.
Okay, you know, fine. That's fair. All right, 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, stay tuned.
13 stoked.
Any words to end this podcast with?
I think that was bad enough.